Run for the Health Interschool 2015. I am Atira. I will be your chair. I am from University of Malaya. So on government we have KDU Cheerios. On opposition we have RND. Now, also that is helpful is that the feminist should encourage women to leave the church as long as it stands on contraception. That's how the privacy is. Thank you, Madam Chair. On the on-site government, we believe that we should encourage women to actually leave the church because as long as the start of the contraception of the church which is the start of concept of the church is characterized as if they are against contraception, where they are against condoms, they are against the use of the morning after pills, and they are also against the use of birth control. Okay, so we also characterize the church as they are radical and very and also very conservative church where they very against abortion, they are against contraceptive as we say abortion. And also we also however we also putting the very business of this debate is actually the first world liberal democracy where in places where people are actually okay to abortion legal, but however it's just the state that actually conservative and legal against abortion and against contraception and so on and so forth. Okay, and also we are classified as a feminist movement and how makes it a very influential and also a symbol and also a face for women to stand for and also look forward to and also yeah, and influential for me with. Okay, so moving on to my point of view. Firstly, on how they actually reaches the right for the right to be used, especially about how is this so? Is because when the church preaches the idea of that contraception is bad, and when you're doing it, like you're saying, so on and so forth, it treats them as an unnecessary worry that they have to think about, every time they want to have 10% and so on and so forth. When they actually have when they use condoms, they will have to think twice and say, oh, what am I going to choose? This is wrong. When we do not want them to have the unnecessary worry, because we don't think it's significant overload, because this is their own body, it's their own choice. Yes.
Right body money, all the things are not something that we're responsible. How we're leaving the church itself, leave people right, and people all around the world the right.
So once they leave the church, they no longer have oppression, they no longer have pressure that they have to live up to. They no longer have pressure, they no longer have voice behind anything that every time you try to do something, they will have to think about what the church is preaching anymore. When they leave the church, they will actually benefit them because they will feel as if they are no longer hooked on something that they need to follow all the time, even if they do not actually believe what is preaching. Okay, so again, continue on. What is economy? It's up to them because it's their own responsibility. It's not actually the church, because it's actually having to take responsibility on what happens to the women. It's not that the church has to pay for whatever the women is pregnant. No, it just doesn't happen. So we think there's no point of the church actually having so that we actually think it's fine for these women to actually leave church for the sake of no longer being oppressed under the church rules and whatever it is actually preaching. Okay, so now why do we need to actually bring in the feminist movement? Why do we need them all people to actually step into the problem? Because the other alternatives don't work. For example, if we actually call in the state to accept and tell the church that, oh, you should actually stop preaching about this contraception and you should stop telling people that using contraception is wrong because you're oppressing people. Then the church can easily just accuse the government for limiting their right to actually practice religion because. You see, the government is the one that is giving the freedom to actually practice whatever religion, whatever religion and however see that they're not hurting anyone. So once they step in, it shows the message, it's sending a message that you're actually limiting and you're actually curbing a certain form of preaching in that region. Yeah.
So why is it bad now? Because we want to be feminism and religion.
So you can still be a feminist and you can still go to church you can still worship to a certain religion, you can still subscribe to a certain religion. It's just up to you. It's just we're not forcing you to be, we're just encouraging you to be for yourself because we believe that it's better for you to be this. So you can exit the environment where it's oppressing you and teaching something that's against your own beliefs. So we can tell you that you can still, because you see, not all children are actually not all churches is very conservative and it's radical. There are still churches who are still okay with you actually taking contraception and so on and so on. So you can go ahead and go to that church and say, because as I've already said, we're not limiting you from subscribing to any religion. We're not limiting you from becoming a religion. This is all your choice. We're not forcing you to get out of the church just because it's against contraception. It's still your own private choice to go or to not leave the church. Okay. So so I bring it up that the government is not appropriate for you to actually step into this problem because again, it's going to be accused for limiting the right to practice religion. And also, why is the president obliged to actually step in and to give out this message? Because if they do not show that, they do not show evidence, they do not encourage people to get out of this environment, it shows that they don't really care for the well-being of the women. They don't really care for the social upbringing of the women in that particular church, in that particular area. So it shows that they're not really protecting women, and they're not really protecting women as a whole. And just because they think that the church and what it is preaching. So, what I've actually brought to you today is why I really justified why the feminist movement is the perfect body to actually to get people out of this environment and to actually tell you that okay, you don't have to actually stay in this environment, you can actually get out of it and there's nothing wrong. And also to you why the state isn't the best choice to actually step into solve this problem. And lastly, why this is important to this women because it reaches their own right and it also reaches the body on freedom. And so with that, I'm proud to take you.
All right, thank you, Prime Minister. Have your
It is untrue to say that the feminist movement will seem oblivious to this issue if they do not carry out this policy or if they do not encourage the families to leave the church. Because we have other methods to curb this problem and to overcome the issue of the church being oblivious about contraception and being against the principle of contraception. Because we think that negotiation and just seeming not as radical as them leaving the church, more people in parliament, more people in power, more families that are lobbying for individuals to fight against the church is already enough compared to families who are Christians, who are individuals that want to be religious and families at the same point. They force them to make a choice. They force them to choose whether they want to be feminists or whether they want to be religious individuals in this circumstance. Before moving on into my two substantives of one, firstly, why will this help to fight the cause of contraception? Secondly, the resentment of women to the rural women and what is the scenario for them there. Before that, number one, let's talk about pressure and the guilty mindset and the guilty feeling that individuals that run on individuals' minds when they go to church. Have a seat. But that's religion, right? And you follow what they tell you or not, you feel guilty or not, you circumvent with the sins that they put forward to you. Have a seat. Like that's a message against religion as a whole, and that's the problem here because we don't want the feminist movement to seem like they are against religion, and that is a message that we don't want to forward to the rest of society, and especially to the church, because the church plays a very important role in politics. The church plays a very important role in how every person thinks in that country. So if only the church was, if only the church tells people that contraception is okay, and more religious individuals accept and they follow contraception now, we will have a better world to live in. Secondly, let's talk about the choice that women have in circumstance, because she told us that we are not forcing them, we are just encouraging them. We don't see the difference. But what are three things will happen? Either A, you are very feminist and not very religious, so you will follow this policy and you will leave the church. Secondly, you're moderately feminist and you're moderately religious, so it's a hard decision for you because you don't know which to choose. You're put in the middle of the pedestal and you don't want this to happen. Thirdly, you care more about religion than feminism, and you just don't care about feminism at the end of the day. This is bad because now feminism, the feminist movement, will lose followers that they need, because they need cultural feminists as well. They don't only need liberal feminists. So these individuals will choose to stay with the church and will live the rest of their life for thinking that contraception is a bad thing. Firstly, let's talk about my synthetic of why this will help to fight the cause of contraception. The first reason is that churches will engage with its members. Before that, yes.
We're not also this individual. But we are not saying that the feminist movement is religion. Because this feminist movement has a obligation to protect the right of women to exercise their choice.
Okay, so I'll tell you why it seems like we are in the church. Because you told us that the guilty mindset that occurs in people's minds is the one that is the reason why you want to get them out of that situation, and you want to remove that environment that tells them that contraception is wrong. That is exactly religion. If religion tells you to do A and you don't do A, that is already a sin, and then the guilty mindset that you will also do anything in any particular activity or any particular act that you want to do that is against religion. So this policy is against religion. This policy is showing that the feminist movement is against religion, and that is the message that we don't want to send out to the rest of society. Moving on to my society. Firstly, why will the churches engage with its members? This policy will force them to be not be a part of it. And what will happen now? If you still attend activities in the church, if you still attend the prayers and the masses that they have in church, you show good attitude. And we're talking about the women in circumstance. For example, when the Pope said yes to contraception a few years ago, and when the Pope said he accepted contraception, this is the form of good progressive values that the church will propagate if you still continue to be a good Christian, and if you still continue to be a good Muslim or whatsoever religion you want to propagate. This is the form of social and progressive movement that we want to see in the future, but we don't want the feminist movement to seem radical. And this is why I brought my second reason. The radical movement won't stop religious people and won't help religious people. How so? Because that's what the LGBT movement did. The homosexual community told all their members to leave the church, and they told that the church is against their beliefs and against their sexuality. What happened is then was that the church thought that these individuals are rebellious and are non-accepting individuals that are against the church and think that the church is useless. This is the problem, because now the church regards homosexuals and LGBT individuals as enemies. That's why the Pope even said after the Irish referendum, he said that the LGBT individuals are defeated to humanity. This is the problem, because in both scenarios, they weren't accepted, because contraception isn't accepted in the Bible and also isn't LGBT. But the problem here is that contraception was accepted a few years back, but LGBT wasn't. You know why? Because the LGBT movement chose to ignore the church, they chose to leave the church, but the feminist movement hasn't. We don't need a point in time where the church will also go against the feminist movement, because we cannot stand a world where that will happen. The third reason is that when the church will evolve, how will the church evolve? Only if there are feminist individuals who are also religious, who are also cultural feminists, who are in the church to lobby for the other rest of the feminists around the world. Like when they have discussion, they have interaction between their fellow members, it's good. Because why? Number one, you protect other Christian women who are not aware of their rights, and who don't have as much lobbying power as you do. Secondly, the church will always be a lobbying factor or lobbying power in politics, and the future of politics depends on very rich and very influential churches. So it's best to stay on the good side of the church. Now, my second substantive judgment towards liberal movement. The first reason is that the church is an influence and they force you to constrain your identity. If indoctrination really happens and it becomes worse, because now if more women are leaving the church, now the church will have to take more radical methods and tell them more harsh and scarier things that women will leave. You will tell, now will tell you that it's not accepted in the Bible. Next they will tell you that the act of the devil if you use contraception and if you leave the church. This will cause the same problems that you can find to worsen under your circumstance, because now feminist movement, feminists won't leave the church and they will have to leave off the feminist movement. They will have to choose the church over the feminist movement. This what happens when this happens, right? Like now they are most likely to lose followers and they are lose cultural feminist followers, because now these are individuals who make up a good portion of the feminist movement. And now the feminist movement will have to deal with only liberal feminists and, like, for example, eco feminists. All these other individuals, they will lose out on the religious individuals that are also feminists. These individuals will never have a chance for them to propagate their rights and for them to fight their rights. We are more than proud to oppose.
All right, thank you to your opposition. Now let's have the meeting back.
Because opposition must understand what is happening with this feminism, with these women, when they are left thinking, seeming as if they are someone who does not follow this religion, someone terrible, right? These women, when they are seen as that people who do not follow the laws that are supposed to, the religious laws are not supposed to, they are going to be constantly oppressed. They're going to be constantly oppressed by the churches, by the priests of the churches, simply because the churches feel that they are not, simply because the churches feel that they are not going to do, and therefore they will be oppressed, right? And I will further explain to you how this will also therefore somewhat deter the feminist movement as a whole, right? But so let me got a few things for it today, right? So the first thing he talked about how it will make. So he talked about two things. He talked about how it will make these feminism seem rebellious as a whole, right? And he talked about LGBT and things like that. So we thought that's fine. We are okay with we are not about that. We're going to say that we are okay with this. We are okay with these people leaving this church. Why? Because when we take into consideration, we look at how they will be oppressed once they continue staying in the church. So we are okay. We want them to leave the church, and even if it leads them on, and they talk about leaving them on a certain pedestal, right? Between being feminist or being religious, right? So because when this happens, we see that that's the reason to find out, right? Oh, we're going to do it. We're going to help these women go towards this feminism side, right? Why? Because when we already agree that the amount of oppression that will happen, when we look into the harm, side opposition has not looked into the harm that will happen to these women when they are forced to stay in church. That's when they have to stay in church. So under our side, when we try to legal to the feminism side, it's because we benefits coming from that. Because when we have to lead this feminism, these women put their feminism side, these women who know how to be oppressed as how we would let in the church. But if I move on then.
So one of the people that is very religious and our husband was not religious. So our husband tells her, if you leave the church, you leave me as a whole other man.
Okay, then leave the husband. Oh, honestly, okay with that. What's wrong with leaving the husband? We have the marriage, we have the right to our marriage. If we want to divorce our husband because our husband makes this very good choice, he forces us to make these choices. So we make the choices and we leave the husband. Okay with that, but if the husband forces us to do choice, just leave the husband, right? So moving on, okay. So this is how, okay, so moving on, right? Because we also talked about, Usman came out and she told you very clearly about the harm that happened, right? She told you about the body autonomy, how body autonomy is important for these women, and they won't have their body autonomy, which also because the movement of the family. How is it so? Because now when these women do not have these certain, when they don't have the body autonomy, and what is the let's clarify, what is the feminist movement? The movement of the feminism is to be able to fight for the right of these women, to be able to fight for the women being having the right over their own body, not being objectified, things like that. Right? So now that when these women don't have the certain rights, when they don't even have the right over their own body, we believe that it harms the feminist movement as well. Because it shows that the feminist movement is not doing hard, it's not trying hard enough. We all know that they are actually trying hard enough. I'll take you later, right? And so another harm that she got to about was about how this it will be a guilt feeling towards these there will be a guilt feeling for these feminists, for these women, right? And how is that very important? We similarly debated, but I'll go back to that. Okay, so because Usman would be that once they go through this Pope, the priest and the Pope would then people in the church would then oppress these women and tell these women that make these women feel mentally, psychologically oppressed, and they would be seen as people who don't follow the rules. And how it is very bad. Okay? So even in the church will debate that and say that no, that's not true, because if even if you do something not against the beliefs, you will still feel like right? So we agree with that. But when it comes to the extent of these women being radicalized, that's right. When it comes to the extent of these women being seen as someone they are able to oppress just because of the fact that they did not follow the concept. We believe that this is harder, this was spoken to the minor sin feeling that India brought up, right? You don't see that we believe that it's very simple.
The feminist movement is supposed to accept me for the woman I am. If I am a cultural feminist and religion is important to me, who are you telling me here?
Wait, so repeat that again.
Feminist movement is supposed to accept you as a woman for if I am a cultural feminist and religion is important to me, who are you telling me the church?
No, we are not. Okay. First, when we encourage you to leave the church, we are not. We are just encouraging you. This is how I'm giving you an offer. I'm telling you should leave the church because you are being oppressed, right? So similarly, trying to make it exaggerating the situation, trying to make it seem like we are forcing these people out of the church. We are not forcing these people out of the church, right? Although we may understand that we need some put into a pedestal between church and between feminism. So then it's okay. We're okay with that. So the women have to choose between feminism and between feminism and church. But what we don't agree with, the reason why we strongly believe that they should follow the feminism side is because these women, well, we are not forcing you, but the reason why we strongly believe they should go into the feminism side is because we believe the main important thing, the big problem we see with these women is because they are being oppressed. It's because they are being seen as someone who should not have to, who do not need the right to their own body. They are being oppressed, and as I also think to you, how it will deepen the feminism movement as a whole. Because they want to see because the feminist movement is fight for the rights of the women, and these women will not have the right of their own, will not have their own rights, and therefore it will deepen the feminist movement as a whole, right? As a whole. So, okay, why am I going to you today? I want you to see that I'm watching this argument. That's why I brought you two main things, right? The first thing about why happens to these women are oppressed, and why when these women are oppressed, how will it deter I think to tell you how will it deter the feminist movement as well? Some are further we believe that although we may put down to a certain level, but others we strongly believe it should go to the feminism side. We want our women to be oppressed, and we want our women to accept.
right, now let's have like a leader competition. Okay.
In order for the feminist movement to win the war in contraception and get more people, more British people, allowing women to take on, getting more liberal religious people into this work, they have to see an engaging organization and not an antagonistic organization that resents religion. We think that you can't live in this world without ignoring religion completely because they play a significant role in our society. It plays a significant role in the political atmosphere and how people make laws that pass through the school. And we don't think this is the best interest of women in general and as well as the fight against the war against the Christian church in concept. But the things I had to do. Number one, let's talk about love. Number one, is it necessarily possible? Because the first defense that they had was that it is not possible. But obviously, when the feminist movement takes the start of this, if you're a true feminist and they encourage all feminists to leave, you then have to leave the church and ignore the church. Obviously, that is okay. Like obviously, you don't have a law, the law obviously it's a start. So you have to know religion. So either pick the church and leave the feminist movement because all feminists now encourage to leave the church, or you pick the feminist movement and therefore leave the church. But second, if you say that forcing isn't true, then your own vote doesn't work. Because if your encouragement isn't effective, then less women will leave the church and more women will still be oppressed under your model. I don't see how justify the say in general, it is a kind of a pretty hard push towards women. But secondly, they don't have the excuse and say that women in general are too bad because they are being sinners and all. First of all, it's a formula of religion. Anything you do wrong, you therefore you just there's an argument therefore to leave religion in general. But the second argument is even worse. That under our model, all women encourage more to leave religion. It is a biggest thing to leave religion than by contraception in that particular argument. So in your argument is guilty mind, and it becomes even more guilty when more individuals leave the church because the church movement told them to do so. But the thing that is told us is the final consequence of that the church is seen the feminist movement is ignoring women in the church and they're seen as oblivious to my problem. No, we have discussion with the church, we have discussion with religious institutions, and we become more and more regular. We have diplomatic talks, we have give and take tolerance. So we have many progressive, like successful progressive talks when it comes to Catholic hope and accepting contraception. Or we moved away from more horrible, like for example, a long time ago in the 1900s, where the Roman Catholics were horrible proposals that showed kidnap them and kill them. Those are the kind of progressive stuff that we moved away from as a result of not leaving the Catholic Church or leaving the Islamic Church, but still remaining and engaging with individuals who do not create internal change and not seen as the antagonist. So for that, yeah.
But there are other liberal churches that also do it in Google. We have that sometimes it's illegal, and by moving for you, we're talking about the influence of the church.
Yeah, so apart from that, I'm just asking one conception. Right? So you want to say liberal churches, and you can completely saying women are conservative churches, but then to liberal churches, where churches and still are not allowed to be conservative. I don't understand. But let's look at the briefing that they had. They had two arguments, two rebuttals towards this. Right? Number one, they went back to the argument that examples would be and therefore is unfair. Because the first thing is that we have to say, let's say, yeah, that is why removing feminists from the environment of the church will necessarily bring better benefits for women all across the board, not just the women that left the church in the first place, but second, just an exaggeration. I don't think they're like psychological traumatic scenarios in which when they put you and tie you down and then like don't allow you to walk out unless you don't accept another person. You think that these are illogical and unfair burdens in place upon us. But the third thing is it becomes even worse because the resentment that is of all progressive women is that you are the enemy of the church. Similar how the LGBT community was treated when they left the church in the past. We think that it's not the same thing once, but we get the decision of the LGBT community. We don't want it to happen again. But there's a lot of positive methods in the argumentation. There was also that number of things to do. Why go to the church as progressive and go to the only even achieve all the progression is to engage. Number two, we don't want to be seen as radical enemy. Their response to this particular argumentation was it's okay to be seen as the enemy. Hello, it's not okay to be seen as the enemy for the Catholic Church, especially when they play a huge role in society. So you will lose out. The very women will die out when they are actively opposed by a huge organization that is like insanely rich and holds a lot of public power in this world. I don't understand how it will necessarily make it better. But we also look multiple things. Number one, we're doing it worse for women in general. Firstly, we told you that Christian women now are more progressive and liberal church, will be more aware of their rights. Muslim women will be more aware of their rights. All the kind of women will be more aware of the fact that it's not wrong to use for these ones. you are right to vote for me, and it's okay to do so. So this is better because we have internal change where the church actively promotes and allows you to do this kind of thing instead of you going to a fight in order to get those kinds of items. But the second thing I told you is that we have more liberal and progressive churches in general. So when it comes to lobbying power and future in the political scenario, where the church funds Republicans and Republicans get lobby laws of Congress and the House of Representatives, in these circumstances, you need the church to be more liberal because you can't shut them down in general. So if you shut them down using the enemy, you will lose because they are rich, you will lose because they are very powerful allies, and you will lose because the world is with them. So it's like this individuals who want to create and create proper publishing. But as other people talk about emotional responsibility, if our church becomes more controlled, similarly to how LGBT really change from don't be an LGBT person because the same to being an LGBT person is a work of the devil. These are kind of changes that progressively change as a result of LGBT community stands against religion. But the second, the worst thing is you choose modern religious families and choose to be families for women and religion. Why does it matter? Why the existence of families who want to choose to evolve a necessary condition? So obviously when the church, the families were in a liberal, more progressive, not crazy, not radical organization, they're more likely to negotiate with them. So for example, when you already negotiate and successfully won on many of them in the past, contraception and many other items, we don't think that it necessarily is beneficial. We think that we have done more in the past, and we do not know this. We can do what homosexual women, where more women can that become right. We can do abortion, where more women will take in these circumstances. If this policy is implemented, and more women are encouraged and they're seriously activities, more women will be seen as the more progressive will be seen as protected and activists and are connected with the devil and inside with the devil. But the next thing we're going to do, and the next part is a different. And honestly, the church won't ban like gay or gay, or they won't ban progressive in the church. But there's always a resenting attitude when it comes to leader. So obviously, ever since the LGBT community took a hardcore stand against individuals, it was harder for homosexual communities to pray in churches. And it was harder because they were being shunned, they were being made fun of. Obviously, you can't ban them, but there's still the environment that exists within this kind of scenario are accepted. You don't want to replicate the scenario, so people who simply want to pray, but still have the ability to do so because they're shunned and seen as the world of the devil. We don't want this to happen to women all around. Sure, you will get some women out of the church, but at the end of the day, we get to have more internal positive change that is more permanent, long-lasting, and can affect many more people all around the world instead of the 3 or 2 that you get out of the church at the right time. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Deputy Leader of Opposition. Now let's have
I have a woman, if they are women out there, want to have the right to have sex, believe that they have the right to do so, and the church shouldn't be there, the church should not do so. So, one question I like to say today, what is going to do this movement? That we went to the church, and suddenly, are we going to the church? Are we looking against religion and firstly, the leaders of family movement. So they try out and try to give a big kind of try to represent of this by saying that we are calling moderates to support both and to choose the school and choose to support the church or to support the movement. Firstly, there are people churches out there who actually think practice religion and don't force people to actually not practice contraception. So I believe that if these people want to have the practical religion, and they go to these legal churches, and it's okay when the parents go to these churches, going against every church, no matter if they choose go to these contraception or for contraception or not. So if a church is for contraception, it means that they have to be going to respect that, and to respect that the church is making people as well go to that church. It's not religion. And here's the thing, if it is when they have a clear mindset of freedom of choice, and they are, even though they are like conservative children, they have this clear mindset of choice of choosing between having contraception and what church chooses, is that they have the right to choose and to stay and whether possible. This is what they different put upon us. I think that like every the judgment and respect each choice of the woman at some day and whether possible. And on the other side of women on proposal for conservative. Because conservatives are the ones that are being pressured to these days. They're the ones that are pressured for the and say that the church says that if you don't follow, you don't practice contraception, you're going to get your fault. So we believe that now we have the government actually has this policy, the emphasis on the importance of having a woman to choose of contraception, which one never thought about. Because the parents will have the obligation to make sure that this right of the woman has to be to be respected. So this is the thing, when the church actually influences this to ensure their lives are influenced by not practicing contraception, doing that now it's not a choice, although it indicates harm mentally, although it might not be seen physically, there is a tangible harm that when you have unwanted pregnancies because of girls not wanting to actually practice, wanting to follow the religion, doing that there is a problem there, and we need to have this for the body of the church to have a mental comfort. Because that is.
So that's you also encourage the transgender community to also lead because they are also.
Answer, no. If you think of the churches, they offer them the things but then you can if they want to practice different religion, they can go to university that is low pastor, simple as that. Then you cannot resist to pick your eyes and you are husband that your husband that wants this woman, mean that as long as this woman has a freedom of choice, we are okay with it as long as it's private and the woman chooses to not be important. So yeah, okay, so as a proponent of this program, it means that people have right to practice religion and they can go to universities and it's not a narrow situation as they would create this to be. Certain kinds of going to religion. Firstly, when this woman features that we can have first practice contraception. So we seen as the word as they are doing the right thing. Okay, look, if you practice women come here and say, this is just if you are forcing you to not wear condom. So are you going to now say that, oh, they are going to this religion? They haven't, the practice of there isn't any word of the testament. I got not back enough. So here's the thing, even when you have unwanted pregnancies out there and aborted babies, babies dumped in the dustbin and all, means that it's a time sensitive issue. And we can see all these controller families and work are not working smart. Because there are still radical churches out there, and it causes people to not understand. It goes to the extent of that during this movement. If you actually black on this movement, say that, oh, well, you actually want to, you actually want to practice contraception in the church. So what we as a feminist are doing, causing these people who are still considered to leave the church to give comfort. Because I tell them that if you want to leave the church, when you guys have to do so, we are here for you. We are here to make sure that you have a good life, you're not going to leave your church. So here's the thing, are we going against religion at the end of the day? Because we are not encouraging, actively discouraging people to practice their rights of practice religion, but helping them to actually have a clear mindset and have a full freedom of right. Yes.
And most people around the world pick and choose certain elements that they want to follow. Still church would be homogenized as that Christian and that Christian identity because their families and because they are women. What is going to happen to them?
So he's going to say, he's going to say, hey, I practice contraception, I see in the church and I'm good to read book guys. Here's the thing, you can tell in the dilemma, you can leave the church for them, so that only I stay in the church. There's no such thing, the church needs to have been a black Christian, there is the church for, it's not our fault to make sure that they are always happy every day. But what we're doing is that we're providing just have a clear mindset to leave the church at the end of the day. So the thing is not as so it isn't true, right? In same way, in the religion is natural and organic thing will happen. But it just isn't as usual because all these cultural, as far as all these cultural families can talk to them, would think that they don't have such big power as the whole country has. Because if you look at it, there's no opposing power towards all these churches. Because the churches can still maintain the highest standards, where the government can't control their churches, the churches will sue them if they actually influence them. To say that they are not even practice religion. But then this is different from practice people. Because the practice people is protecting the right of the woman versus the right of the versus the churches for even to practice contraception. So they try to say that the churches will become more radical in this case. No, we don't believe so. Because when you have younger breathing out of the children, then you will think that there's some problem with your preaching, and this they really need to change them. So need to be more lenient, like I said before, to have particular demand, as long as actually have contraception at the end of the day. And we think that even though in the worst case scenario where the children will become more radical, we believe that, and even if we think that we need to make a clear like mindset to the women so that they know what they're doing, they know that they can actually have sexual contraception. No, families will do it that support this. So for the rest of this women, we believe that we have won this debate by having this women seen as a responsible women which has been accepted by the society in the country, and we are not supporting the government.
All right, thank you, Governor. We're gonna have yeah.
The feminist movement was a movement that set out to fight to improve the standard of women in society. But their side forces women to chicken out and run away from the church and ruin their standard in society. But which is going to be very simple. There's two issues here I think were really relevant. Firstly, whether or not the influence of feminist movement were the most maximizing of circumstances in space. Secondly, I'm going to talk about how whether or not acceptance is totally portrayed on both sides. But which side makes the situation of contraception and women better? I'm going to analyze both the circumstances in question. Before that, I'm going to address a few problems that didn't fit in my last one. First rebuttal is the government will talk about how we should take them out of normal churches, normal and conservative churches, and put them in liberal churches. First because this is that they can't provide for everyone because the numbers of feminist movements who are conservative or choose to be liberal are too many. This becomes a very rare situation and it's a very hard circumstance for us to test on the opposition side. It is a minute circumstances. They are willing to go through an inconvenient matter to push all the feminists who think that they are liberal enough to join the feminist movement to churches that are liberal and to churches that aren't really that conservative. It doesn't matter if the feminist movement are encouraging them to leave church. What matters is if they are being seen as influencing them. This is bad because the church assumes them as the enemy. And once the church assumes that they are the enemy, the church begins to oppress them as a movement. That's one of my first issue of fact. Is the influence of feminist movements. How these feminist movements encouraging women to leave churches imposes a guilty mindset towards women. The government told us that they have to follow whatever the feminist movement says. They have to choose which side they want to go to, their religion or their cause, or what cause they support them. Either way in this case. That's one of my first response, or first question in this issue. What is the harm to guilty mindset that they explicitly promote? They promote guilty mindset towards youth. I'll take one later. They make women have the guilty will to choose between being a feminist and supporting their cause or being a religious person and supporting whatever they believe in. So our solution to this is that they should nudge women towards the feminist movement because they say that they won't face the pressure that everyone will believe in them. So wrong. We tell you that the opposite of this will occur. They really have to listen to our leaders about this. But the LGBT movement who encourage the LGBT community to leave the church, at the end of the day, they are the ones who are being oppressed by the church. Because at the end of the day, we have to realize that the church is the one that influences everyone every day. The church has power over lawmaking groups, the church has power over society. So if the movement, fighting for their own cause, are seen as an enemy to the church. They are the ones who are being oppressed by the church. But before we go into my other examples, I'll take you one.
If a woman is completely tested, do not wear masala. I would consider the great modern federal countries to only change the children.
I'll say that in my issue. What happens if we ignore the acceptance of this son? But this one where let's say you're on well, because like we know how if the church sues the movement as an enemy, they continue to oppress. They will continue to oppress the movement. So the church will feel oppression towards the encouragement of feminist movement under this faith. So what if we ignore this? The answer is what? We explain to you a huge brief analysis of 3 types of stakeholders. Women who aren't really that conservative and are more the liberal side of their belief. Secondly, women who are liberal and half liberal and half conservative. Thirdly, women who are conservative. Now what they are doing is that they are changing the identity of the feminist movement. They are changing the identity by encouraging people to leave the church and following to their cause. Because they are encouraging people to leave the church because if they don't, they aren't considered feminists and they aren't considered supporting their cause. They are good to us. Why aren't the feminist movement which really are in society? They maximize the harm by changing what the feminist movement really was. Instead of a movement supported God to a movement that encourages people to believe what they believe in. We minimize the harm because we balance it out and not encourage women to be the enemy of the church. No, thank you, maybe a bit later. So this was my second issue about acceptance. Which side in the situation of the contraception stance better or the acceptance of women better? We told you how there are many types of feminists. Feminists who are cultural, feminists who are liberal, and feminists who are conservative. The individuals that will be affected by this policy are not only cultural feminists, are not only liberal feminists, and are not only conservative feminists, but all of them. Because once the church feels the pressure towards the movement, once the church feels pressure towards that movement, they will feel as if this movement will be the bad one in this place. But before this, yes.
So how much longer do you actually want to wait and oppress women for organizations to work? Is it really proven that your methods maybe are ineffective? That is why we're actually pushing for them to actually do the church.
Thank you for repeating your certificates you want. Well, I already proved to you how we women can choose to be what they want to be. And if they are the ones who are waiting, we're not making them wait. Because they can choose to believe to do what they want to believe and not choose to support the movement who's actually encouraging them to leave what they believe in the first place. Let's move on to where I continue. Let's continue to where I left off. So the individuals that will be affected by this policy are not only cultural or liberal or conservative feminists, but all of that as a whole. Because the church influences all types of all of these stakeholders. Because influence begins through repression. Once the church recognizes that the feminist movement are a form of oppression, they begin to oppress the feminist movement. They begin to believe what they believe. We think that all in all, not only are we minimizing the harm by recognizing the feminist movement as a movement for the cause, but they are the ones who are maximizing the harm. Because they are the ones changing what the feminist movement used to be. They are the ones who want the feminist movement to become a movement that doesn't support what women believe in, but instead a movement which encourages people to believe what they believe in. Okay?
Alright, thank you. Opposition, another power.
You can very easily continue the outcome of this model of encouraging people to the church by just looking at the violent communities. When he came to the church, the homosexual community decided to leave and emancipate themselves from the church. It not turn out well. But even if we don't use examples, we can logically see what's happening. If you set out a stand and say, women of the world leave the church with that, I don't see why the church will not resent it. I don't see why the church will not see it as an attack on religion. I don't see why the church will not attack the feminist movement back. The flip side of which government is this. They thought maybe politics and how they failed to do more. But why they don't think bad on women necessarily was the yardstick to determine when we do something. If it is bad, we doesn't need to almost think the most radical stance to me because it necessarily only helps the few women that actually leave but does not turn out well for the rest of the women in this world. But secondly, it hurts all the other progressive stuff that we've already done so far. We've already changed from like crazy conservative, ultra horrible people in the past who are more liberal, more engaging, more accepting. I asked the beauty mind how it makes the how do we resolve this very simply the A, it doesn't matter because the cause and religion and both are necessarily. But B, it is even worse when they are seen and told to be the religion. And when they tell people guilty because they're like, their entire faith, their entire belief in God and the church. Second, they told us that no one will put them in the church, and this one they keep very engaged. They put it out of the conservative church and then with the equal because A, I don't see how that is necessarily possible or even exists. But B, even the event where they do, that's fine with emotion, right? Or even like contrary to your own stance. They want to pull them out of the most oppressive places in the whole world. So pick a stance, guys. But thirdly, they told us that we aren't forcing people and we just need encouraging you guys in the first place. First of all, is an encouragement that it's already enough to fight like tension between the church and everyone in general. So if you just encourage individuals and set up a state where we like either way and tell everyone that the church should not join the church and that is bad, I don't like obviously the church will resent that everything that is necessarily bad for the church. So we think that the attack on religion. So it may not be forcing, but we think it's an encouragement. So when your policy is necessarily put in place that women in the church, the feminist movement will be blamed for the act. The feminist movement will see the reason why there are less female Christians or less female Muslims in this world. The next question that they have that they just like rather was that how long do we have to wait? I think it's better than waiting for change and anything to change rather than just pretending to be the video with all our practical when it may turn out horrible for you. Already I turned out horrible, that should really turn out horrible for these individuals. But what did we tell you is why was it necessary not for? First of all, we go into the fight of contraception, fight for contraception will better be won at our model when we have more progressive and more liberal stances when we engage with individuals. Meaning they play a very important role in society and they control how people think, they control laws, they control a lot of other things that we cannot necessarily fight because the feminist movement is no way stronger than the church. Meaning we have to engage and we have to do this or else we will be shut down, the feminist movement will be destroyed and we don't think necessarily beneficial. Secondly, we told you that there is resentment. And we told you that the individuals will have to because A, it makes the church more controlling because now church moves towards transfer that's the devil's work. Don't do that. It's a bigger thing than it was in the past because that's what movement. By the way, for me, it's forcing individuals to choose between the feminist or choose between it. And it's very all right for you to be religious, modern, progressive, feminist, but now it doesn't exist anymore because you have to pick a side because use a condom or you don't, you're already on one side or the other. But thirdly, and I told you this in my video, also I responded to side of government that we create a more evolved church, a more progressive and liberal church, and why is this beneficial? Firstly, we told you that it's beneficial because you create more positive standards, other things that bring them into like homosexuality among females, or abortion right, or like polygamy among women. We need these other ramifications that the church also presents and also is against, but we can naturally move forward and move towards making it better for women. But the last thing we told you was that it resents women in general when they are going to pray and it's doing like active church or religious mission like this. So at the end of the day, we want to help women. You know, the best way to help women is by making a radical stance of research to see and attacking the world. We can't fight that one for again.
Alright, thank you to the last speaker of the outside opposition, and let's have the last speaker of like
First of all, I like to start not get fooled by your rhetoric skills because your ideas are actually quite simple. They're going to three ideas together. First of all, they got to work about how church become more radical and more controlling because they want to attack something brought to us was about how people choose to decide to go between an unfair we're telling them that if they go to come, then they are part of the devil's work, right? So they'll make the chips and then if they don't come, if they don't come to the work, right? Okay. So just becoming more relevant. You think that uncertain what we inside the LD program, even if these students become more radical, we should feel it's completely exaggerated. But let's say even if these students become more radical to so we adopt. We really need a trade-off to take. Why? Because that this being oppressed in the church society, being more radicalized, we comment be radical radicalized in by the church. We don't want people to study this. We care that the community is first instead of and you should not by the church. We do not but it's okay or more controlling of these feminism. Believe that it has to be protected in the first place, right? Because women, we don't agree with women mostly when once we have them at this, they constantly be oppressed. We don't support that at all, right? Suddenly they don't learn about how people cannot, people won't be able to choose, and we're leaving them on an unfair pedestal, right? We don't know personally. As long as the first thing people do was about how, as long as this is what happens, even if we put them on an unfair pedestal, we believe that this, at least this will help to raise awareness that the moment that they are constantly, that the moment we use these contraceptives, they're going to be constantly being oppressed in the church. So as long as it raises, we want to raise awareness for these women. That if they, that in this pedestal, as long as we let them on these pedestals, and we show me how to come to the feminism side. Because the feminism side, in the feminism side, we believe that they won't be oppressed as much. Although we do agree that maybe it may make the church try to radicalize them. But we think it's a fair trade-off, right? So this also trade-off is second argument how people can. But we don't care if people not just about it. We want to say that we care as long as it raises awareness of these women. Because unlike government, we want to protect the women in the first place, right? Really the women's rights and the women herself, the women's psychology and the women's rights itself is the most important thing we do, right? It's not about, we don't care what the churches say. The church can radicalize however they want, the church can attack the feminists however they want, the women are the more important, the women are the priority, right? Because we are focused on the main party and support the women who are being oppressed in the church in the first place, right? So secondly, and the last thing they was about how we are telling them that they are not if they don't join the church, if they don't join the feminist movement, then they are not feminists at all. Firstly, until now they are still exaggerating this situation. Because no, we tell you that no, even if you let's say you ditch the feminist movement and you decide to join the church, then we're okay with it. Because although we agree, although we understand that we are telling you, our side, we want to raise awareness, we want to tell you that you are being oppressed in the church, we don't encourage you to come to we don't encourage you to say don't encourage. But if they still decide to go to the church, then fine, we'll deal with it. But we just want to encourage people, right? We're not forcing people. Some opportunity still doesn't get that was like government will to
Alright, thanks to both sides. We have been talking about
we can